Good evening, my dear viewers and my loved students. Today's broadcast will tell you about all the transformations and inner states, mental states of many people. So today's broadcast, in this broadcast, will try not only to answer all your questions, but also to give you practice work so that you will find the solution in very difficult situation that concerns your psyche and mental states of other people. All the processes that now we are seeing everywhere around us in the world are inevitable. These are the processes where the old world is folding and disappearing, and it causes mental disorders, aggression, hatred, catastrophes and disaster, different diseases, and disasters that are caused not only in natural processes but also human internal states. What are these states? This is mental state of humans. And indeed, many people say that now it's very difficult to live in this world because many people have become insane. And most of these people cannot realize, accept the state and to understand that they have the mental disorders. Of course, these states have the effect in their social life, in their health, and it affects the person who is involved in all these sufferings and political destructions and difficult situations. So, of course, today I will tell you how to find a way out from this trap, from these difficult states and situations. Also, I will tell you where these states, mental disorders and destruction start, and how to notice it at the beginning, and how to avoid very severe destructions, and how to retain in the stable and healthy mental state. Since I'm a practitioner, I have practice, many-year practice with people, helping people, and of course, I had a lot of experience in helping people, and now I also have a lot of people, patients, who come to me in these difficult states of mental disorders. So, based on my practice, I can tell you that this topic is and this issue is very complicated and difficult. That's why I cannot give the same recommendations to all these people. It will not be right because each of you is unique, individual, and your soul has your own process of evolution, your experience, your memory, your achievements, and your own process of destruction, if it exists inside of the person. So, of course, working with a great auditory of people, I can tell you that every person has his individual internal state. Sometimes it can be similar to the internal state of another person, but nevertheless, it will be unique and identical and unique. I have been studied this human psyche very deeply, and I concluded that the psyche of a human being is his internal state of his soul. So now I will explain you what is the psyche, mental state of a person, human being, and why now the mental states of people undergo destructions. So today I will explain you why the mental disorders take place in the mind of many people and what are the reasons that cause these mental disorders. My friends, a human being is a soul by its nature. So every person has his own individual internal state that he has developed in the process of many incarnations. So the internal state of every person depends on the amount of his past incarnations, on the quality of his experience in these lives, and on the level of his spiritual development in these past lives, if he developed spiritually. So since every person has his own unique experience, he has his own level of destruction. So when a soul is preparing for the next incarnation, spiritual beings select the destiny and the family parents for his new life, new incarnation, the country, nationality, the city where he will be born, where he will live. So everything is selected very thoroughly, accurately, that will allow this soul to gain a new experience and needed qualified experience, necessary experience for his soul, and in the process of his spiritual development, since a person has the spirit and the soul. When a person is embodied here, he comes here with the plan of his evolution, his destiny. In this plan, there are specific events, situations that this person, this soul, have chosen to live, to experience, because the soul of every person needs the experience to develop and to gain and develop new qualities, new states in himself. So the parents and their mental states also play a very important role in the development of their children, new souls that are embodied in the families, because parents activate the programs in the subconsciousness and consciousness of their children, the programs that these souls have developed and achieved in the past incarnations. That's why spiritual beings select exactly such parents who can activate these programs and will help this soul to gain necessary experience in this new life, constructive or destructive experience. Sometimes some failure helps, and parents cannot give the necessary experience to these children, or make some mistakes, cannot give necessary information and development of his moral qualities, intellect, and other development. And I see a lot of such parents when a child is screaming and they just give him the smartphone and don't do anything else. So parents play a very important role because they create the foundation for the destiny and development of a new child that will become adult person. The task of every person in the process of his development, and the task of parents to give it to their child, to unite mind and soul in this life, because the mind is the representative state of the soul in this material life. So your main task is to unite the state of the soul with your mind, and thus to give the possibility to your mind to listen to your soul and be united, be one system. If it happens, then a person has very strong intuition, then he makes much less mistakes, and he can predict and foresee many situations. Yes, of course, this person also will make mistakes, but then he analyzes his mistakes and take some conclusions, and then he is growing, developing, and then make less mistakes, and thus a person has the right path of his growth, development. He is striving to new achievements, and he is confident in himself and in his future. And then he has the healthy psyche, because he has no split between his mind and soul. But exactly when such a split between the mind and soul happens, the mental disorder starts. I will explain you more what happens next, because I see that not everything is clear to you. So today, even not the broadcast, is more explanation of these processes, mental processes. So when the split of the mind and soul takes place, what happens with the mind and soul of such a person? Very intelligent, smart, etheric or astral entities possess the mind of such a person. You can watch in the movie Nefarious about such entities. And for some reason you cannot find this movie in YouTube, but in the internet you can find it. So the astral or etheric entity possesses the mind of a person, and then it gives advice to this person, pushes to some decisions, actions, and a person does not understand that this is the advices and thoughts of this astral entity, and a person does not hear his own soul. He does not understand what is his soul, and as a rule he even does not want to understand what is his soul, because this astral entity that influences his mind first starts to please this person and praise this person to this person in his mind, and in his mind this entity lives, and then it tries to create destructive decisions and thoughts. For example, to be offended by someone, to have some resentments, to hate someone, and then this entity creates these destructive mental thoughts, and the person starts thinking these thoughts. And I can tell you more, that these entities, smart, intelligent entities, can influence the mind of people this way that they give them arguments. They're very logical, and a person thinks that yes, this person is wrong. I gave him everything. I did so many good things, and how this person could do this action to me? And he might lost his conscience. He is wrong, and I am very good. I am right. So all these thoughts are not the human thoughts, and they are created by these entities that control the mind of a person, because the soul cannot think such thoughts. Your soul is the purest state, is true nature of you. But when the astral destructive entity possesses a mind of a person, the first step that this entity does to split the mind and a soul of this person, and then a person does not feel and hear his soul, and he lives only in his mind, which is controlled by the entity, and the soul is lost and closed, and the soul of a person feels that here it does not have the ability to evolve and to live and to gain necessary experience, because in the subtle dimensions it's much better to live for your souls, but your souls come here with one purpose: to reveal and cognize the divine nature and states that you have inside. Each of you have this state, each of people, but your souls can do this only when they are united with your minds. But since you have no developed consciousness, I mean cosmic consciousness, higher consciousness or higher mind, you can develop it only through your mind. physical or material mind. But a human mind is strong only in one case, when it is united with the higher mind. This is the cosmic field. This is the mind of the Creator, the higher mind. This is what is the higher mind, the cosmic consciousness. So when you unite your mind with your soul, you reveal not only the ability of your mind, mental abilities or intellect that are auxiliary for you, in fact, but you reveal and unfold your higher consciousness that works together with your soul and spirit and higher mind. In this case, these astral entities cannot possess your mind. Why? Because you become strong and you reveal within yourself such a great power, such possibilities that these astral entities go away and none of them cannot approach to your psyche, to your mind or soul. They can go around and wait for the appropriate moment when you will make some mistakes or lose your vigilance, but they cannot influence you and touch you if you will be strong. So again, everything depends on you. But what happens when a person loses his vigilance? What happens when a person, how many of my acquaintances 20 years ago, for example, when I told them 20 years ago about all these processes that are taking place on the planet, now they admit that I told them the truth, but they cannot admit it to themselves because all people make mistakes, and this is the most difficult, to admit this, your mistakes. As Sergei Arkadyevich recently told me that indeed all people make mistakes, but only people who admit and realize their mistakes can evolve and develop further. So this is the most difficult thing for people, to admit your own mistakes and fix them. So these egoistic entities, astral destructive entities, cover the mind of the people and interfere people to understand and admit their own delusions and mistakes. Since all people make mistakes, but the most important for you to admit and realize your mistakes quickly and correct them. So how does a person can understand that the mental disorders start taking place in his psyche? A person can understand this instantly and not so quickly. As I told you that a psyche and mind of every person has their own state, individual state. So now I will tell you about several categories of people with whom these mental disorders start. The first category is the group of people that have been living in the state of depression, apathy, sadness, grief, sorrow for many years, very long time. People who have some insecurity, they are not confident in the future, they always have the bad mood, and when they wake up, they don't know what to do, they are pessimistic and they feel insecurity. And this is the first bell, because this is the first stage of the mental disorder. If a person has been living in depression very long and cannot stop it, cannot change this state, it means that he cannot control his mental state, I mean his thoughts, his emotions and feelings. If the person cannot do this, this is the person who is already sick, because his psyche, his mind is damaged and infected by the egoistic entities. It's very difficult for him to live, and he understands that he cannot resist these states. Sometimes such a person can understand that after 1 day or 1 week, something good will happen to him when he heard some good and positive information, and some positive mood returns to him. He starts smiling again, some positive thoughts appear in his mind again, and he goes to the beautiful garden or watch a positive movie, PK, or a beautiful green. It means that such a person still can change this state, and we can help such a person to help his mind, his psyche, and he can be recovered. But another case is if a person had been living normal life, and then something happened with him, very strong, severe stress, and this situation, this stress, or some difficult situation happened to him, some tragedy in his family. He understands that he cannot cope with himself, with his emotions, and when some time passed, a person understands that he cannot return to his normal state that he had before. This is another indicator that a person has a mental disorder. He is mentally ill. And what does it mean? It means that some destructive programs were put in the psyche, the mind of this person. It means that the soul of this person lives not in the high vibrations of spiritual vibrations, but in the low vibrations of stress. When a person had this state, had this very strong stress, it means that his soul also was damaged. A person tries to cope with it, return to his normal state, but every time he returns in his mind to that stress, to that sorrow, to that tragedy that he experienced. And a person realizes that he cannot return anything in his life, that situation, that stress or tragedy has changed his life completely. This is also a mental destruction, because the soul of this person is destroying, is suffering, and lives in low vibrations, low vibrational frequency. And your soul, by its nature, is happiness, joy, and love. These are the states in which your soul, healthy soul, lives in normal state. But the soul in the stressed, depressed, and sad state, and when it has been living for many years, a very long time in these states, then such a soul can destroy and die. And as I told you in some broadcast, that a human being has 3 types of death: the death of the mind, the death of the body, and the death of the soul. You know about your physical death, when your human body dies, but the death of the mind is the state of the mental destruction. This is when a person cannot cope with his mental state, and it means that he cannot control the state of his soul. And in this state, a person can live for some period of time, 1 or 2 years, or even 10 years. But then, when another stress happens to him, then the split or the rupture takes place in his brain between left and right hemisphere. Your left hemisphere is responsible for your past events and memory, and the right hemisphere responsible for your future. So your both hemispheres should be united, works together as one system. But when this rupture occurs, then a person feels that he ceased to be himself, and he stops to feel, to have emotions. He cannot feel anything. And what is your sensitivity? It is the feelings of your souls, the states of your souls. And when you have this emptiness, and sometimes a person says that I feel such the lost state or emptiness inside that I cannot feel anything, I don't have any feelings, I feel that I'm lost in reality in this life. It means that these mental processes are practically inevitable, because we can say that the person is completely dead, since his mind is dead, since the person cannot control his mind. But these people still have thoughts, and you can notice that such people are constantly talking to someone, even loud or in their mind. With whom? With these egoistic astral entities. They talk with them, because these entities completely control the mind of these people, and the souls of these people cannot break out of this structure of these etheric astral programs or entities, because they live on the planet. These entities live on the planet in the form of the etheric programs, and they live on the energy of such sick, destructive or aggressive people. I recommend you to watch this feature movie Nefarious. You will see it very clearly. When a person sometimes remembers who he is, and he starts crying and say that this something pushes me and forces me to kill, to torment other people, and I cannot resist him. I have to fulfill his tasks and his commands. Watch this movie very attentively. You will see how this nefarious, this astral entity does it. What does it say? And you will see how this person was suffering in that movie, the main character. So there are such people in our life. They can blame you in all things of life, or then they blame themselves, then they cry, then they laugh the next minute. So the internal state changes very quickly. These people cannot return their normal mental state, emotional state, because they are completely possessed by this astral entity. So sometimes they blame you, then blame themselves, then they can cry, then they can scold you and insult you, and then they ask for your forgiveness. It means that such people have lost their mind. It means that the death of the mind happened in them, and it's impossible to help such people, because they completely took the side of the dark forces that we call the matrix system or destructive astral entities or system. My friends, sorry, I need to drink the water because I have the overload on my voice. So, my friends, why do I tell you about this? I have such cases in my life, in my practice, since I have been practicing for many years, and many people with mental disorders and distractions come to me for consultations, for help, and now I can tell you that almost all people who came to me have these problems, since there are a very small amount of people with healthy psyche. So very often I manage to help them if they trust me and fulfill all my tasks and recommendations when I work with them and heal them. If they practice in meditation every evening with me at 10 p.m., these people over time become healthy. They restore their psyche, their mind, and become sane or retain sane, and they tell other people how they have managed to get out of these mental disorders. They still stay healthy. But if these people, these patients, lose their vigilance in some circumstances, and since now on the planet everything is done for people to become crazy, to become insane, only thus circumstances are created for people. So if a person has lost the vigilance, he is in danger. And first that happens to these people, he starts doubting. First, he starts doubting in the knowledge that he has gained. And exactly these egoistic entities put these doubts in his mind, tries to push to this disorder, because this force, this entity knew how to live with this person, because it had control of this person, the mind of this person. So if the person loses the vigilance, he again would be trapped in the control of this entity. And of course, these astral entities will do everything to take this mind and never let them go. That's why it's very difficult to resist this force, and only strong people can resist this influence. Then the person can blame all people, start blaming everyone around him. But of course, this is not his thoughts, and this is the influence and the thoughts of the entity inside of his mind. And of course, it's very difficult and painful to live for such people. Inside, in their psyche, in their soul, in their feelings, they have so much painful sufferings that they cannot cope with it and cannot withstand this. And I know how these people are tormenting, and I feel very sad and pity. I know what they feel, what they think, and in what danger they live. But also I realize that I cannot live their life against them. And I know that they allowed to these astral entities to possess them. So if they come to me again and help for the help, of course, I don't refuse them. I do everything again to get out, to bring these people out of this abyss and hardships, because I know that all people have the souls of the Creator, divine souls. And when a person was my student, my learner, some time ago, he is still my learner. So we'll do everything to help him and save him. But the result depends not only on me, but on the efforts of the person himself, and how seriously he will attitude to this. he will take this help and this treatment. And as I told you that many people now in the world have mental disorders, and very small amount of people have a healthy psyche, healthy mind, since we live in very difficult time. So for people, it's the most important is to find the right path, pure path, and the teacher who will be pure and frank and real teacher, real healer. So if you have managed to find such a person, and you will keep your sane state and healthy mind and save your soul, keep your soul. This is the most important for every person. Of course, it's easy to talk about this, but it's very difficult to do it. And I know that for every person, it's much easier to analyze everything and everyone, but not to see and admit and analyze their own mistakes. But everything that happens to us depends on us and has causes inside of us. So if you see some vices in other people, it means that you have these vices in yourself. And you need to figure out with yourself and work on yourself, and not with the mistakes of other people, and analyze mistakes and decisions of other people. So working with the psyche, treatment of the psyche means the work on yourself, on your inner state. And of course, it's very difficult for people to analyze and correct some inner states and qualities, because only a strong and intelligent person, developed person, can understand that only me is the person who is responsible for my life and for my choices, for my mistakes, since no one lives my life, only me, and only I is responsible for my choices, my decisions, my opinion, my convictions, my beliefs, and my internal states that I consider as the right. And since I have all this and I'm the reason of all this, I can change it all, and then my life will be changed automatically, and then I will reach the higher level of my personal and spiritual growth. So why should I analyze the decisions and mistakes of other people? I need to analyze only my beliefs, choices, and convictions, and then my life will be changed. So this is the truth, and we cannot reject this truth, because it will not be changed. Nevertheless, it will be still truth. So if I will not work on myself, I will go to the deeper abyss. And what the result I will have if I will live the same way? I will come to the madness. And how and where I will end my life? In the psychiatric clinic as an insane person, mentally ill person. And what will be the continuation of my life when I will die in this physical life? I will live in the same madness, since after our physical life we continue to live after life, but without physical body, but in our consciousness. So if I will still mentally ill and insane, after this life I will go to the same dimension, to the same mad people. So how to break out of it? We cannot stop these processes, because these are the laws of life. So you should not wait the death and should not wait this end, because this will be the abyss and the dead end in the eternity, since such a person will not get out of this state. Since here you can change your path, but then after death you will not be able to change anything. Here you can find kind people who can help you and give you an advice and give some help, but there, after this physical life in the spiritual, subtle dimensions, you will not do anything. No one will help you. You will live in this eternal state of madness. So what should I do? Such a person should think. If there my soul will be trapped in the prison of madness, this is what you should think in such situation. That's why people need to work on themselves very hard and effectively. You need to notice the state when you cannot cope with your emotions, your mind. If you notice that sometimes you have such emotional, psychological stress, when you are overwhelmed with aggression, some hatred or resentments, when you cry and cannot stop, since although you know that you need to stop, but you cannot control yourself, it means that your soul and your mind, your psyche are damaged and suffer. And you know that at one moment, very soon can happen when this splitting and rupture can happen between your mind and the soul, splitting between your mind and the soul. After that moment, to return the soul of the person is impossible. Everything that we can do for such a person is just to maintain psychologically of this person. Some doctors, psychiatrists can prescribe some medicines, drugs to pacify this person, pacify his nervous system and psyche, because at some moments, some situations he cannot control himself. But such a person stays at the threshold of the sanity. This person can live some years till the end of the life and to wait for the death, but he will never be the healthy and sane person. This is a great catastrophe and disaster. I really wanted to hear my voice now, my calling to you, and not to wait this process of destruction of your mind and psyche. Don't wait for this. Don't sit and wait. Find in your soul the willpower, the power and strength, and tell that I will never allow to myself to feel it. I will control myself. Today, my friends, I will give you the practice to help your psyche, your emotional state. Practice every day in this practice and with any break, because if you will skip some day, you will leave the empty day and you will not have the good result. But if you will practice every day, you will become stronger, and these astral entities will not influence you very easily, and you will be in safe. I will give you the opportunity today to ask me the questions and some advices. Answering your questions, I will give you advices and recommendations. And in the end of the broadcast, I will conduct the energy practice and practice every day, then in this practice, in this meditation. And one more advice and recommendation: if you feel some difficult emotional state, open and watch our broadcast recordings, because it is free on our channel, but you will feel my energy. You will raise your vibrations. It will be very easy for you, because when you will watch my broadcast, listen to my lecture, you will feel that you will get my energy. You will feel better, easier in your soul. And to give something in return, when you take my energy, you need to give something in the world, to do some good deeds, to help another person, to give an advice or recommendation, or to forgive someone. It also will be very good deed and action. To wish something good to people or to someone. It will be your payment, because there are the laws of the cosmos that we need. After taking something, and even before taking something, we need to give something in return. So it will be your answer, since you will take the energy that I am giving to you, the energy from the Creator. And this energy is given to you by God, by the Creator, to improve your life, so that you live your healthy and happy life. So friends, I'm ready to your questions. I will drink water because now my voice is overloaded during these days, and Sergey Arkadyevich will voice the first question. Sergey Arkadyevich says, good evening. The first question from Natalia. Mad people in the family, what influence they cause to their relatives if someone in the family had mental disorders? My friends, Natalia Rodina answers, my friends, what are these mad people in the family? If you meet a person who really is mentally ill, or in your family someone becomes mentally ill, or you know that in your family you had the mad ancestor, grandmother, grandfather, or great-grandfather or mother, and you are born in their family, it means that you also have this gene of madness. If you had no such program, you would not select this family. You would select, before the incarnation, the family with a healthy psyche. Because if you had the completely healthy psyche and mind, you would need the same family with the same healthy mind. But if you are born in this family, if this family was selected to you by spiritual beings before the incarnation, it means that in the past incarnation you was mentally ill or mad, and you made some mistakes. So that's why now you have this gene, this program in your mind, in your consciousness. But you don't need to blame yourself. You need to forgive yourself. Accept it, that in the past life, in past incarnation, you did not know how to live the right life, how to cope with your stresses, with your difficult situations, hardships and sufferings, cope with your emotions. But if you are born here, it means that higher beings and God gave you a new chance to be embodied here, to have a new life. And never blame your relatives, your family, because if you blame someone, you know that the dark forces are working in you and through you. So you should not blame anyone, because you have chosen, your soul has chosen this family and even your mad relatives. Everything has causes, and Everything has a reason. You live according to the laws of the cosmos, and your reincarnation is arranged according to these laws. And it doesn't matter that you don't know about them and about these laws. You are not free from them. You are still responsible and live according to them. And since you now know about them, hear about these laws, accept this and don't blame anyone. Because to become mentally ill is such a difficult and painful state, such an emptiness, such a tormenting of soul, that it's very difficult and impossible to withstand. That's why most of these people, many of such mentally ill people commit suicides because they cannot stand this state, cannot cope with it. That's why don't blame anyone. This is a very serious wise. So, if you cannot cope with someone, you need to figure out only with you. Analyze your decisions, your choices, your actions. And maybe you did not obey the recommendations of your teacher. For example, I have such a learner, a woman, whom I tell that you need to become healthy, you need to have the healthy food and don't drink alcohol, don't eat meat. But she went to the supermarket and take Coca-Cola and drink this Coca-Cola right in that supermarket. Of course, it means that such student cannot continue the learning in our center with me. And what does she do? She tried to find another people, old people, to give them recommendations, although they don't know how to bring order in their life. They have a lot of problems in their families with their children, cannot cope with themselves, but they still try to help other people, give them advices, heal them. It means that the ego entities are completely possess their mind, and they cannot cope with themselves and cannot understand their illusions. So if something happens in your life, it means that the causes are only inside of you, and you need to work on yourself and figure out with yourself. And I would want to ask my learners, if you have such experience, write it into the chat, share your experience, so that the person who asked this question understand that he or she needs to work only on herself or himself. The next question, can we be infected by these destructive entities from someone else, even from a person who is our loved ones? Natalia Rodina says, yes, it's true, and I wanted to tell you about this too in the end of the broadcast, but since you asked me now, I can tell you that yes, you can be infected. Your relatives, your loved ones can infect you with these astral entities, because these entities can influence and work not only with one person, but also influence you. Since you live together, you have the connection with these people, and I can teach you how to resist this influence, to become strong, to protect your psyche, your mind with a strong, pure vibration. And thus, when you will become strong with this sacred practices, mechanism, you can help your loved ones too. But also, in this situation, in such relationships, you need to treat them only in a very calm state, never argue with them, try to pacify them, calm them down when they cannot cope with their emotions. try to take care of them, and don't try to blame them or to prove that they are mentally ill or they are wrong. You always should resolve all conflicts and avoid all conflicts and calm them down in every situation. The next question from Sergey. What are the purposes of these entities? If they control so many people, masses of people, they should have the goal, these entities. Natalia Rodina answers, their purposes are to destroy humanity. So the main goal is complete destruction of white people, most of all white people, because white people and Slavic people will give the birth to a new race of people that will lead humanity and the planet to the right spiritual life. That's why they try to, and different form of refugees and others, to settle black people everywhere. And why exactly white people are so valued? Because they have more spiritual genes and potential, divine programs, divine potential. And fallen beings who control astral entities, they were very developed spiritual beings, many eras in the past. But since they had become fallen beings many thousands years ago, they started to serve to the dark forces, and now they have their own egoistic goals and try to use humanity because they need the energy of people to live on. But they are disconnected from the cosmic energy. They have created their system, their energy field, and they connect every people, unconscious people, to this system. We call it the matrix system, because they need energy. Everything and everyone in the cosmos needs energy for life, for continual life living. So these fallen beings were disconnected from the source of life, cosmic source, higher mind, the creator who spreads his energy everywhere and maintain the life everywhere in the cosmos. That's why these entities use the energy of people, humans of this planet. So they know that you are more primitive, although you have very high divine potential. They know how to manipulate your mind and to use your undeveloped souls, and your souls contain this energy. That's why they try to take your energy, since your souls are like energy batteries. It's the part of the divine soul, the soul of God. That's why your soul always have and produce energy, generate energy. That's why these fallen beings to provoke you, manipulate your mind, and provoke you to generate low vibrational energy. Since they are fallen, they are destructive, they need only low vibrational energy, destructive energy. That's why they need to hold you in the destructive, low vibrational states when you are aggressive, sad, depressed, and other destructive states, when you are sick and mentally sick. So your soul have very, very strong energy, and you know that the atom possesses very strong impulse of energy. And even bomb is created on this foundation. That's why these fallen beings need the energy of your fears, your grief, your resentments, hatred, the energy of the doubts. This is the first method to approach to you and to use your energy to invoke you to doubt in this knowledge and information that I'm giving to you. For example, maybe there is some catch, and these are the thoughts that they create in your mind when they try to force you to doubt in me. And very often you even will not notice how you will lose this path and will become mentally ill. But there is a problem now on the planet, friends, that now the psychiatric clinics are overcrowded. So I can tell you that in the nearest future, very hard times await people. And very soon in the future, many psychiatric clinics will be built. But I can tell you more, that there will be new methods of this fallen system and beings, that many people will get sick from some virus that it seems will be infected their physical bodies, but in reality, and this virus will infect and damage their psyche, their mind, their mental state. And it will happen very soon. Even it will start in this year. So if at least a half of humanity was stable and could resist to these influences and to become strong internally, energetically, if they had the desire to learn how to do it, how to create this protection, everything would be better and easier. But now many people, most of people on the planet are in very serious danger. And these fallen beings have learned your nature, your true nature, your mind and soul, and they clearly know how to influence you and how to manipulate you. You can resist them and protect yourself, but you need to learn for this. But it's also not enough. You also need to work on yourself, to get rid of your vices, remove your vices, change your temper, your character, change your attitude to yourself, to other people, to life. And it's very hard work. Only strong and strong-willed people can do this, will be able to fulfill it. But what will happen soon? This virus will suppress the psyche of people, and people will become completely weak, with a weak will. And you see that now many people allow the system to does it with and to does it with them. They want to play in video games, they want more pleasures, they don't want to make decisions, they don't want to take responsibility. So such people cannot avoid this influence. So you need to become very strong energetically to resist this influence. But it's also not enough. You also need to lead a healthy lifestyle. Don't drink alcohol, don't smoke, not take chemical substances and alcohol. Control thoughts and emotions, to be kind, pure, constructive, frank. They should not lie and deceive someone because people who lie and deceive someone are not spiritual people. You should not resent, offend someone, blame someone, or revenge someone. To be pure and to raise to the state of divine person. And only this pure inner state, divine state, will protect you from this madness, total and complete insanity that is coming. And this virus has already started to work because this virus is informational. First of all, it's informational. I even have the course that is called Viruses of Consciousness. These are programs, and this is how they work informationally. Informational influences and infects you. I see the thoughts of Sergei Arkadyevich that he has found very good questions, but I'm still talking. So I give the floor to Sergei Arkadyevich. Sergei Arkadyevich indeed says that, yes, I see there are very good questions, and I also have one. That's why I'm waiting to time to ask them. Some people say that, yes, there are people who drink alcohol and other things. So such a question. There is the difference between the meaning of mentally ill person and mad person. Natalia Rodina says, no, it's one and the same. When a person becomes mad, his soul starts suffering and gets sick, and a person becomes mentally ill. Or, as I told you at the beginning of the broadcast, that there are several ways to mental disorders, and one of these ways is when a person feels emptiness inside, when something, the most valuable thing was extracted from him, and a person just become the biorobot. This is this state of madness. The next question, Olga from Kazakhstan asks, if you are working on yourself, you are changing, you feel good, but your relatives insult even more, don't understand you, then I left this family. So I think that nefarious won. But what nefarious won in my case? Natalia Rodina answers, if you develop and working on yourself, see that someone tries to take you back, try to work in this way so that you have enough energy for yourself and for that person. And I'm teaching this my learners. I tell them that it's very good when you can help yourself, but your task is more. Your task is to help your loved ones, your family, who you love, and compassion. So, how you can help your loved ones? Only in one way. When you will show them with your own example that your life has been improved, that you become better, that you have become healthy person, happy person, you have a job or a business that you love, like, and you're a prosperous person. You can travel around the world, you can buy good books, and you are confident and calm, you're confident in yourself in the future, you can resist any viruses and infections and still be healthy because you know how to resist it, how to heal yourself and help yourself. It means that you have the right path of spiritual development. But if you try to argue with your family members, with your loved ones, and to force them to develop or to prove them something, it means that your nefarious, your egoistic entity is stronger. Because when you're developing, you have results, you reach some achievements, is great, but it's not enough. Your task is to help your family, your loved ones, to help them to reach higher level. And this is the value of your life. And I teach my students to do this. I teach them practices, to master the practices with the help of which they can help other people, to heal them, to develop them, to help them with their energy. And I can tell you from my own experience that many people cannot estimate themselves right. They do just a little and then they fall and say that I'm so tired, I have lost the connection with myself, I don't have my internal environment, it disappears because I'm so tired and I have lost my personal space. But friends, they are deluded. We need to ask the hard-working person what is tiredness. But when a person just a little added some additional activity and then lost himself and lost the personal space, it means that a person lacks energy, strong willpower, and dedication, and inspiration, and energy. Because when you lack energy and you're tired very quickly, it means that you lack energy and you do something wrong. But you're looking for someone to blame in this. Although you need to ask yourself, why I'm tired so much and I cannot reach good results and achievements in my life? Where is the reason? Where is the program in myself? What I need to work and remove? What are the reasons since I have such results? But the program of ego is to blame someone in your problems. But don't look someone to blame. Look for the reason in yourself. Sergei Kadich says, yes, people live in comfort zone, practice in meditations, but when some additional load and activities appears, then they are tired. But we should not practice only for ourselves, we need to help other people too. The next question, how to protect ourselves from the 5G and other influences and radiations? To put some cap Natalia Rodina says, yes, practices can protect you. Activization of brain center and sublimation. If you will master them, it will not be impossible to influence and impact you. But as Sergei Arkadьевич said, that you need to get out of the comfort zone. Because I teach you these practices, these meditations, but also I teach you to use and apply them in your social life, in your ordinary life. Only in this case, everything will be right. In other case, it will be useless. The next question, Larissa says, I adopted the son 6 years ago. It means that I have changed my destiny and the destiny of my son. So he has some problems. So can I help his psyche and his mind? Of course you can. 1,000 times, yes. You can help him, restores his psyche, but first you need to master this method, these practices, and then restore yourself, and then help your child. Of course, friends, I always like such processes, and this is my dream, to adopt all children in the world. This is my dream. But now I can say that I have become the mother to all my students and to all my children, because I'm teaching not only adults but also children. We have the international school, and we are teaching the children from 6 age till the 18 years old children. And from this September we start a new learning year. And on September 1st, we will have first meeting with the parents and the children. So yes, this is your task, to help yourself and then help your child. And the better is to practice in meditation with yourself in sacred mechanisms, and then work in this practice with your child. The next question, Yelena from Kiev asks, can you tell me, the small babies, small children also can have astral entities? Those children that are aggressive, are hysteric, cannot cope with their emotions. Natalia Rodina says, yes, these processes not start. We can say that in such situation, these astral entities have possessed their minds, and they create these painful states. And small babies till the 1 year, they live more in the subtle dimension of life, subtle space. That's why these entities influence their physical life, create different painful states. Sergei Arkadyevich said that perhaps I will ask the last question, but it will be the general question. I will combine different questions. Many people ask about their relatives. Some of their old members have problems with their mind, as dementia and other mental disorders. So what recommendation you can do, how to help, how to interact with such people who have such problems? And then we will finish the broadcast. Okay, Natalia Rodina says, I'll give you advices and recommendations. First, if you see that you have this instability, you need to develop such stability to reach higher level than this instability. And first you need to learn how to work with yourself. Every evening you need to sit and relax your body, practice with yourself. Focus on your breathing. And friends, let's do it together right now. Sit comfortably and relax in the maximum level. Relax the muscles of your face, neck, shoulders, your core, arms and legs, and start listening to your breathing. Do the conscious inhale and conscious exhale. Take a conscious inhale, conscious exhale. Let's think with you that we live only thanks to our breath. Due to our physical body can breathe, we can live. But when our physical body breathe with the air, we breathe also the ether energy. It means that our emotional body of ether also lives, and it has thoughts, emotions. It means informational level. But in addition to this, there is something higher, that is higher than my physical and ether body. These are my spiritual bodies. And now I feel my spiritual bodies, the level of my spirituality, how much am I developed spiritually, how strong is my willpower, my inner strength and conviction. I always understand myself. I always control myself. When you understand yourself, you will want to control yourself. And now, let's activate within yourself this state. I always control myself. Say every word clearly, confidently, so that this word installs in DNA. I always control myself. When you control yourself and meet a mentally ill person, destructive person, internally, before say something, or do something, or react in some way, tell yourself first, I always control myself. After that words, you will not be aggressive, and the Creator, the thought adjuster, the voice of God within you, will obligatory give you a good advice and recommendation how to react or what to say, what to answer. And in addition to this, will give you the power, the strength to overcome this state of madness of that person. And thus, when you arrange the right process of life, but you feel that you cannot stay with this person, appeal to the Creator and say, the Father of my soul, if I have fulfilled all tasks that were assigned to me when I met and had relationship with this person, and I fulfilled everything, give me the ability to go to another place, to change my life, to go where I will be constructive, will be healthy, when I will be more useful. Don't wait to take it for free. Be ready to take your efforts, for example, to find a new job, to earn money through your work, through your labor, to buy a new apartment or house, and to change your life, to start a new stage of your life. Then, in the morning, when you wake up, think about your dream that you saw, listen to your inner state, give yourself the mindset, never blame anyone, and then say, I always control myself. I always control myself. I always control myself. And then think about your plans for the day. What actions you need to fulfill this day. Assign your tasks for the day, and that everything will be fulfilled, will be done according to the will of God. Let everything will happen that God wants, and thus my day will happen. This is how you need to react and attitude to the aggressive people, and start and end your day every day. You should know that this is not the thoughts and the emotions of this person. This is this entity thinks and in him and speaks through him and tries to provoke you to feel these states and give your energy. That's why you need to always control yourself. It means to control your mind and soul, your thoughts, emotions, and feelings. And when someone asks me, should they live with such people or leave them, I always tell them that when Jesus Christ was asked by the disciples that how we need to interact with people when our family members don't want to listen to us, don't trust us, don't believe us, scold and insult us, don't understand us, Jesus Christ also felt the same experience as my learners experience when he was not accepted by his family members. And he replied, Jesus Christ replies, that if someone in your family interferes in your spiritual development, the development of your soul, leave your family, as I did. He really did this. He left his family, since his loved ones, his family members did not understand him, did not understand his service, his worldview, and he left to another village, developed his soul, and then go to many villages and cities and developed the souls of many people. So I want to tell you the same. Be pure and develop your soul. Listen to your soul and apply this knowledge that you gain in your everyday life. Because having this greatest knowledge and mechanisms, practices, will not apply them in your life, will not help other people, then you have no any values in your life. This is the most valuable thing that you can do. You need to share it with other people and help them. So our broadcast is coming to an end. I really want you to apply it and use it in your life. And never be afraid of changes. Always know that after the dark period of time, always the positive, constructive stage of life will come. But the most important for you is to learn and develop the ability to resist to any influences. And then you will not be afraid of any viruses, infections, and energy influences, because the infections and viruses can infect and damage even the brain of a person. For this, you need to reveal and develop the power of God within yourself, divine energy in yourself. For this, you need to be a true son or daughter of God. For this, you should not wait for praises and don't listen to very easily promises. Always know that if you come to some community where people praise you and raise your egoism, your arrogance, your pride, that you are the best, leave this community and run away. You should know that the true teacher, spiritual, divine teacher, will always tell you the truth to save you, because he or she will do everything to save your soul. Also, friends, I did not tell you that now on the planet many biorobots appear who are not humans, who can, looking into your eyes, can possess your willpower, possess your consciousness, and slave your souls. During 10 or 15 minutes, they approach two people, say something, look into their eyes, they can murmur something, say something quickly. And what do? They install the programs into your mind through which they steal the souls of people. I know these cases because now it happens very more often. I tell you about this, although it happened even in the past. But as I told you, it can happen only with a person with a weak willpower, person who is not believer and not spiritual, because a person who does not believe in God clearly without knowledge, because when a person believes in God without knowledge, it's a blind faith. This person don't have this power, this strength inside. Faith is not a fanaticism. This is the inner conviction that is based on the pure spiritual true knowledge and conviction, energy, and the divine power that is revealed within you. Such influencers don't approach to such people. They can influence and steal souls only of weak people. So this is our task, to become such strong people. And we will do it, friends. We will manage. Up to new meetings. Goodbye.